Leprosy is the oldest disease known to mankind and has existed since the dawn of time. It is the worst disease man has ever suffered or will ever suffer. Leprosy has tormented humans throughout recorded history. It doesn't let the sufferer die, but never gets to leave him all through his life. Fear of all other diseases put together can hardly match the horror created by leprosy. Let us go back in time and then into history and further beyond into the creation of this world itself. Can there be a word that spells so much of being cast away from the society around, of creating a barrier between two same creations of God, the one who has health and the one who suffers with leprosy? Throughout its history, leprosy has been the most feared and misunderstood disease. For a long time, leprosy was thought to be hereditary, a curse or a punishment from God. The earliest mention of leprosy was from the Vedas, the sacred hymns and verses composed in divine revelations of ancient India. Sarath and lepre are the names given to leprosy in the Old and New Testaments.
Old Testament certainly speaks about leprosy.
Jesus, in his public ministry, showed that he cured all kinds of diseases, including leprosy.
Leprosy is mentioned twice in the Holy Quran. Chapter 3, verse 49. Chapter 5, verse 110. In Europe, during the Middle Ages, leprosy sufferers had to wear special clothing. They also had to ring a bell or clatter a rattle and cry, "Unclean, unclean," to warn others of their approach. It is also known as Hansen's disease, named after the discovery of leprosy-causing bacilli, Mycobacterium leprae, by Norwegian physician G.H. Armer Hansen. A leper was a public menace and therefore was expelled from the community to protect its healthy members. Since the disease was incurable, he was an outcast for life. He was deprived of his civic rights and was considered dead socially long before receiving the merciful boon of physical death. Even in modern times, leprosy patients are segregated and separate colonies have sprung up far away from the thickly populated areas. Leprosy colonies such as those in Maulali, Shantinagar, Dichpalli and Nalgonda have sprung up in and around Hyderabad, the capital of the Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. Likewise, there are separate hospitals for leprosy patients situated in and around their colonies.
Leprosy is everywhere. All the countries has the leprosy. 98% of the people never get leprosy because they got natural immunity in their body. Previously we thought that leprosy is transmitted by touch or by marrying a leprosy patient, or so many stories are there. It's not true. It's scientifically is proved beyond doubt that leprosy is transmitted from droplet infection through air.
Father Damien, the hero of Molokai. He was father, engineer, construction worker, doctor, grave digger, and coffin maker for the leprosy patients. Located 3 kilometers west of Ditchbully is Victoria Hospital. The principal aim of this hospital has been to serve the sufferers of leprosy. The hospital was founded in 1915. Baba Amte, he decided to remove the fear of leprosy from the public mind and to restore to the affected sufferers their lost self-confidence. Sivananda Rehabilitation Home. The home was established in 1958 by Rani Kumudini Devi and registered as a charitable institution. Millions of people in India suffer from leprosy. Mother Teresa focused on lepers in particular. Here is the saga of Sailu, a victim of leprosy in Hyderabad, who is all alone. Loneliness is the worst punishment fate can inflict on a human being. It is worse than any disease. But if a dreaded disease like leprosy and loneliness are both combined together and personified, its name will be Sailu. After being driven out from his village at the age of 16, he spent the next 40 years of his life on the roads of Hyderabad. Meanwhile, Dapsone was found to be a cure for leprosy. With Dapsone treatment, Sailu's health has improved. And with the discovery of MDT in 1983 and free treatment by the government hospitals, his disease was arrested.
These are the tablets. It contains 3 drugs. This is a multi-drug therapy.
With his old age creeping in, he knew he could not continue with his loneliness. He needed a shelter from the scorching sun, rains, and cold. His search ended when he found Maulali colony. By the time Sailu arrived into the colony, all the houses were occupied. However, he settled himself in a deserted tin shed there. Sailu is about to wash himself outside with a dog for a companion. He washes himself at the community water tap. Going back to his shed, he prepares his meal on a stove in a corner of the shed. He cooks. He cleans the rice with water. Lights the kerosene stove with a great and determined effort. A never say die spirit. He doesn't ask for any help and doesn't need any help. Self-help is the best help he might think. There is no other go. He lifts the dish and puts it on the stove, which is easy for us, but not so for his hands, which are but stubs. He stirs the rice, tasting it to see whether it is done. He shakes the rice out. And fixes it with vegetable curry, which he either gets as a dough or makes by himself. He sits down watching people and the traffic and becomes a spectator who's looking at the world go by with infinite patience. There is nowhere to go, and he is in no hurry. He sets out on his regular round of begging for alms and whatever he can get. Shows gratitude when given something at the bus stop, by the roadside, and in the marketplace. Sailu was the first son born to the couple Durgaya and Lachmama of Maripalli village in Andhra Pradesh state of India.
మారేపల్లి ఊళ్ళోనే ఊరినా ఆళ్ళ జరిగినాక పెద్ద
Acute poverty robbed him of both his education and joyful childhood. Right from his childhood, he was entrusted with menial jobs in agricultural fields and cattle sheds. But Sailu was content with his life. Sailu was very happy, but as fortune would have it, he was struck with leprosy. The first reaction was from his own family members and close relatives. He was segregated. Then he was sent to Sangareddy Hospital for treatment. At that time, there was no cure for leprosy. After keeping him for 4 months as an inmate, he was sent back to his home. Now everyone in the village, including his own kith and kin, were fearful of him and his disease. All of them believed that the disease was contagious, hereditary, and also associated with sin. Soon, Sailu took to the streets. It dawned on him that he had to live on his own. Leprosy had already taken its toll on him. Both his hands and feet were eaten away by the disease, hampering his mobility. He was constantly on the move. He thought that he could not live long, but God willed otherwise. Sailu is back in his shed all by himself, with none to care for him. He prepares a cloth case for his water bottle to keep it cool and safe in the hot weather. He observes life, a marriage procession. And goes in to partake of the feast. He's a Christian, having accepted Christianity after coming to the colony. he does not go to any religious place to pray as he's fearful of being humiliated or troubled in other ways. The other people of the colony come to mourn him, serene in death. Leaving behind his paltry earthly possession, something he could call his own. People came to make arrangements, preparing yellow rice with turmeric and getting water for washing his body. They prepare the pyre with bamboo sticks arranged in 7 rows, signifying the 7 steps to heaven. Dressing it up with new clothes and a cap. A flower garland is placed around his neck. The eyes are covered with coins. Betel leaves are placed in his mouth, covered with an orange cloth. Other leprosy victims lay the body and carry it to the cremation ground. Though Sailu had accepted Christianity, he was given a Hindu cremation because he had no relatives and most of the mourners were Hindus. The turmeric rice and water is carried ahead of the body in procession. Before they reach the cremation ground, they place the body on a spot known as Dimpudu Kallam, where they call out his name. It is a belief that he may come back. Then the body is taken to the cremation ground, with flowers and coins constantly being showered on it. The body is carried 3 times round the pyre before it is placed. Betel leaves are put in the mouth. Logs are placed on the body, and some milk is also poured into the mouth by the mourners. Smaller wood pieces cover up the whole body. The principal mourner makes 3 rounds of the funeral pyre. At the first round, a hole is made in the pot. And at the second round, a second hole is made. And in the third round, a third hole is made, and the water is allowed to run out from it. A lighted torch is held in the left hand with the face turned away from the body, and the funeral pyre is lit without looking behind. Ironically, they are also happy that the pathetic and miserable life of their co-victim has finally come to an end. Silu's life might have come to an end, but the misery associated with leprosy continues.